Hi! Guys, I'm back! And I see you as well! Hello, ladies and gents! Welcome back to a new episode of A Sense of Capital. This time it's perspective time actually. Your host of today is, as always, Julian, and I'm very glad to have you in again. I already checked honestly, so I've seen that I think 2 people are already joined the call and watching it, so I'm very happy. As always, I mean, I would even do this for people who just later on viewing the stream, and if there are only 2 or 5 or 10 in the audience, I would already be very glad about it. So even more happy and satisfied and pleased that 2 already are right now live at the stream. So very glad to have you in one more time. Guys, today we will talk about Alfen, the electrical infrastructure, hardware device, however you want to call it, provider, vendor out of the Netherlands, out of Almere. There's a specific reason why I quite spontaneously integrated the call or established it, and this is because of let's say quite questionable bad news of the past week, which hit me in the face out of nowhere as well. And if you are backing the company like me, I guess you experienced more or less the same story. So at least we are all in the same boat. And yeah, first of all, I really thought, okay, I will just sell the stock because of this news. That's too much. Enough is enough. But guys, here I am, and I just thought maybe I give a little bit more time, do at the weekend some brainstorming. Then I did some research. I did this brainstorm and I thought, why not sharing my opinion and what I've researched with the audience? I mean, it's not something too special to new. So if you expect some really dope stuff, I'm not sure if I can please you, but I try my best to at least create transparency in case of or in regard of my own thoughts and how I acted, how I decided, how I behave, and how I will behave in the future. Yeah, so that's actually the case. Before we jump into Alfen and I quickly explain what Alfen is, actually what they are doing for their business for a living, a quick disclaimer as always, and that's very special today because I will really strongly provide you my specific opinion, even more I think than comparing it to the regular earnings streams I'm backing and I'm doing. There I always try to in general communicate a little bit on a neutral level. This will not be the case today. I mean, I needed to make a decision, and of course still I try to step into a more neutral position. I don't want to force anyone into the situation that they purchase something and then later on they sell it and they are mad on me or on Alfen or on the world or whatsoever and stop investing money into the stock market, which would be unfortunately. And on the same level, I don't want that people, because of this call, avoid to be invested in stocks or especially in the company Alfen. Yeah. So quick disclaimer, in the upcoming minutes this will not be any financial advice, consultation whatsoever, and as always there is no guarantee for correctness of the provided data. Guys, actually I can already, if my girlfriend would wake me up in the middle of the night, I could say this just based on my memory. I've never learned it, but after the first 10 earnings streams somehow it's in your brain. I was very bad in school, but this is somehow working. Yeah. Better late than never, but yeah, that's how it is. Guys, let's start a little bit talking about Alfen. And that's not Alfen, that is Alfen. Yeah, and I mean, I will keep it very compact and do it most of the time way more complex in advance of the earnings calls to brief new ones about the company. Today I keep it compact. So Alfen is a company which is located and headquartered in the Netherlands, in Almere. Quite compact city. I'm not sure how many people there are living, but maybe 50,000, 100,000. I was there last week and it felt like 50 or 100,000. So yeah, basically that is where they're headquartered. And so they are, as a company, they have a long history. So the company itself was founded in 1937, so almost 90 years ago. And At the beginning, they always have been active in the sector, but they focus on electrical grid solutions and specifically, how they call it today, smart grids, so transformer substations. Yeah, this is their legacy business. This is where they come from. Different kind of substations, as you can see here, compact ones or even ones where you can actually walk in, that large they are, covered with conker, inside some electrical stuff. And yeah, to basically just transform, don't take it too accurately, but to transform the power level from higher to lower, or to lower to higher, basically. Yeah? So they are the transit points, the substations in front of a power plant, for instance, in front of a wind turbine, and to then push it into the electrical grid. And later on, there's another substation, for instance, is required when you get it out of the main pipeline of the grid, and diversify it in different, for instance, households. Yeah, and on top of them, they have this compact, they have these walk-in stations, and they have this customized one, as you can see here. I think it's right in the middle of Amsterdam located. At least it looks like it. What they do as well, and that is a little bit newer, roughly 15 years old, and that is EV charging solutions. You can see all different kind of EV chargers. So it's very simple ones, even without a display, which getting addressed to private households. A little bit more sophisticated ones with a screen and have an RFID code reader, which you can use for professional reasons, for companies or for public organizations, but as well for private households. And then we're getting more and more into the professional area. And I guess those one here, the Twin 5 and Twin 5 Plus versions, are really 100% made for the public area, installed and assembled in cities, for instance. Yeah, so for public charging, basically, where I'm actually currently located at. So currently my car is charging. Yeah, so that is actually, or unfortunately, not at an Alfen EV charger, but might be the case in the future. Who knows? They are actually active in Germany. And the third business, and that is the, let's say, the rising star, is ESS business, or ESS business. So battery energy storage systems, or energy storage systems, or however you want to call them, or battery storages. This is their rising star, not that old, but they have basically two standard versions. First of all is a stationary one, which is called it's a mobile one, which is called the Battery Mobile X version. What you do with this, I will show you in a moment as a realistic project. And then they have stationary ones, which I guess most of you would think is the classic one. They're getting installed next to PV farms, solar farms, water farms, wind farms, whatever, even regular fueling stations, gas stations. Yeah, so that is where they get located at. And there is really a high hope for this business. But before we go a little bit deeper, I would say we take a look into some realistic case, or a little bit in the news history, the latest and the recent news history of Alfen. As you can see here, with a big, enormous key, they basically announced and opened officially their new headquarters in Almere. You can see it here on the top left bottom. It looks quite small. We will see it later on larger. But that's the new headquarter for offices and as well for production facility for manufacturing. Different kind of solutions. By far the largest headquarter they ever lived in and have been located. And so you can see here 24,000 square meters. So this is definitely something what you can call expanding the business for a relatively small company. Yeah? Roughly 1,000 staff members are active for Alfen. Yeah? So you get an idea. Then they're covering new laws, for instance, as you can see here. You can see a European laws boost. There is some new regulations that you need have some special payment options and all this kind of stuff. So basically, I mean, if you have experience as an EV driver, EV car driver, how it is to charge, at least in Germany, it can be quite difficult. There are different vendors, different options how to pay and how you need to pay. Not all of them have all options actually. It's more like some suppliers of EV charger stations, they just offer credit card or something like this, and then sometimes you're really low on power and you're standing somewhere nowhere, yeah, somewhere in the desert, let's say like this, and then you are unable to charge. And so really the EU, next to some other stuff, they try to standardize as well here with this kinds of regulations, the laws. And Alfen is making sure they are one of the first one which who can cover this kind of laws and regulations with their EV charger product portfolio. Yeah. Then you can see here how a substation getting installed. This is one of those what I've showed you, this walk-in substations, so that you just get an idea about the dimensions. We're talking about a massive 176,000 kilo substation, yeah. So somehow they need a big crane and a big utility to move it from A to B, and so they're selling a few, I guess, hundreds till thousands of this kind of solutions. And on first glance, it seems like, yeah, nothing too much, you know, but it's really like there is a certain volume in terms of physical capacity behind. So you can see here it goes into the direction of 200 tons. On the other hand, as well, of course, those are investments. It's not like 10,000 euro or whatever, or 50 euro and 5 cents or whatsoever. That's not the case. Those are definitely a 6-digit number of products when we talk about the larger ones. Then we go further, and you can see as well when we take a look on the energy storage capital, they establishing strong deals with large energy companies, like here with Alfen Energy Solutions out of Sweden. Sweden is called in Hanhals. I'm not sure if I pronounced it correctly. Maybe I should stop to pronounce it correctly if I'm not sure about it. However, so you can see 15 megawatt or 50 megawatt hours of modular energy storage system. This is how it looks in reality. Yeah. So this can be a case for the stationary solutions, and now we have an example for the Mobile X, for the mobile versions, which are more transportable and flexible to use. And you can see here the movie festival in Cannes in Paris, I think, in France. And you can see here they are branded. Greener Power Solutions, I guess, is one of their business partners, but that's the reason why it's not printed or branded as Alfen. But this is how it can look. So I mean, basically they put some Mobile X energy batteries in some location, as you can see here, connected to some EV chargers, and then the stars can get transported from A to B. And this can as well, of course, used for construction sites. Do use different construction vehicles and power them with those batteries. You can use it as well for festivals or for just some intermediary solutions. Yeah, let's say it like this. For instance, there are some grid problems in an area whatsoever, or there is some catastrophic scenario, let's say like this, like flooding or something like this, and power is not working. You could use those batteries to move them to the specific location and guarantee power supply for the residentials. Quick zip as always. Good thing is today there's no time limit, or regularly I'm always quite late with my calls, and most of the time the earnings results are already announced and released. You know them. I most of the time don't know it because I'm still briefing you about the company. Today, no deadline, but it will not take so much time. So I expect this call will take, let's say, maximum an hour. And it's getting more and more interesting, and we come definitely to my opinion, and will take some time. It's not like I'm scamming you here with some stuff you already know, and then just 2 minutes about what I will what is my thoughts, what are my thoughts about the current situation. That's not the case actually. And another news, actually quite new, 1 week old. Eine Woche, Woche means in German week. And you can see here as well, I mean, for instance, a differentiator in the energy storage system business is the quality of the batteries, so the different cells which are installed, and the battery management system. And I can't evaluate the management system of Alfen. I'm not sure how high-end quality those are, but what I can tell here, if they're not stating wrong information, they mentioned here they have a long-lasting agreement with CATL. I guess it's a quite popular name in the sector, because even though I was never active in this business, I actually knew their logo and this name, so I guess you know it as well. And they announced that they will provide new kind of batteries in the future, which are working with very low to almost non-capacity loss in the first 5 years and have a very efficient capacity on a very small footprint in terms of the battery size. So for me it sounds like, and here's the CEO of the company, it sounds like that Alfen tries to stay up to date and really cooperate with some big names in the industry. I mean, you need to know, yes, they are producers and developers and installers and sellers, of course, as well, of substations, of EV chargers, and of battery storage systems. But I expect that they more or less assembling all different parts in the production facilities. So it's not like really they have a, let's say, a substation with 176,000 kilo. It's surrounded with a lot of concrete. I know it's not the case. They are creating this case out of concrete, the scaffold, or however you want to call it. That's not the case. So they're more a sample company developing it, and it's the same with a lot of companies today. I mean, OEMs are most of the time not producing all the parts by their own as well. They're getting the lights somewhere, the headlights or whatsoever, and the interior and the steering wheel and all this kind of process. A lot of them getting sourced out. The screens, and I guess for the crucial ones where the expertise is somewhere located externally, Alfen keeps it the same basically. But still, that they have definitely their own solutions, very own solutions. It's not just like they put their brand on it, their logo, and it's done. That's definitely not the case. So guys, I mean, now you are wondering very likely, if you are not too informed about the current situation, why I quite spontaneously established this call. So first of all, I already mentioned that I did some research by myself, and I thought, why not using it and utilizing it to grant you some extra entertainment, let's say it like this, and even maybe some input from outside. But the actual reason was some quite awkward news. But I mean, first things first, let's start what was roughly 2 months ago. Look, this is me, Julian. Yeah, I look a little bit gray. Maybe it's just my face. Maybe it was the daytime. I'm not sure. But that is Almere, and that is this Dutch location where the headquarters is positioned, and you can see it in the back. And actually, it was quite right after the opening with this big key, what you have seen a few moments ago. And I was there 2 months ago. I was there because for business reasons, not I'm somehow cooperating with Alfen, never was inside of this headquarters. Actually, I asked the investor relations chief if I can have a tour, but it was too early when I was there, because it was just the production area getting just launched and started. However, I was there and I was quite happy because I was an investor at Alfen for roughly 1 year at this point in time, and I'm convinced by this company. I'm convinced in sustainable energy and renewable energy in this business, especially for Europe. I mean, in general for the world, but especially in Europe, there are strong subsidies and a lot of agendas, a lot of programs for the different countries, or even for the European Union. Those those aspects are prioritized on a very high scale. They have different kind of targets, how much power, how much power basically in the future needs to get covered by renewable energy, and how much EVs need to be on the road, and all this kind of different targets, quantitative wise and quality wise, are established. And different kind of entities, different kind of organizations, authorities really pushing strong into this direction. I thought, okay, I don't want to be directly invested into a car company like Tesla or whatsoever, just my personal opinion, because I'm not a big fan of the car industry. And I know people say Tesla is not a car company, but I would say let's keep it like this. That's not the topic for today. I don't want to be invested like this, and I don't want to be invested too heavily in this private sector. I prefer to be invested in an industrial sector, business to business basically. And this is what Alfen do. Big substations or regular substations, business to business. EV chargers, yes, they provide as well solutions for private customers, but I guess they are way stronger in terms of winning tenders for cities, for villages, for regions, for companies. I think there's definitely more the focus, even though maybe they roll it out more and more into the private business. But I guess as well in the B2C business, the competition is higher. At least that's my feeling. And then of course as well, battery storage systems, which are clear business to business. So that's the reason, that's the DNA, what I liked about it. A company in the renewable sector located in Europe with this great tailwind of the government, of the overall plans for the region to save the planet, a company which is providing great solutions, have already good legacy, are established and running so far so good. That was my investment idea. And then they had some issues basically. I mean, that was already quite at the beginning when I was invested, and they told it is a gap year. From mid next year to mid this year, it will be a kind of a gap year. Yeah. So the demand for EV chargers and all of their kind of solutions, let's say EV chargers, especially EV chargers for those products, they have the deals will get postponed. The demand is decreasing and very likely coming back 2024, second half of the year, or maybe 2025, but actually 2024 second half, let's say it like this. And then suddenly somehow the last earnings call wasn't that great, and I looked more like this. You could check it out by yourself. It's not that long ago, one month ago. No, 1.5 months ago, I think. So roughly 20th of May, the earnings release took place, and I got this as well. And I was really like, okay, my smile went a little bit from this status to this status. And why? You can see it here. I mean, just take a look on the red colored letters. Yeah, let's start from the top. Revenue and earnings per share development was really negative. And no matter if we talk about EV chargers or battery energy storage solutions systems, negative substation was great, but both others very impacted very negatively, and especially the BESS solutions very heavily negative. You will see it in a moment. I looked in details, and it was not just on the top line side, as well on the bottom line side. So the profitability get a big hit as well. I mean, they talked about increasing adjusted EBITDA margin. Yeah, it's just adjusted, I know, but at least increasing, and positive free cash flow, and it didn't turn out like this. Not at all. I mean, let's take a look together at what I used at this day. You can see here. So basically, originally they stated, still at this call, they stated growth rates for 50% year on year for EV chargers, 20% for substations, and almost 40%, or let's say lower than 40%, which was already compared low to the years before, for the battery solutions. And you can see, I mean, why it is compared, I mean, 40% doesn't look bad, but compared to 1 year ago, it was roughly 250% year-on-year growth. Yeah, 1 year later, only 40%. I calculated by myself, I think something with 100% or something like this. I need to check it out by myself. And I guess the management of Alfen was on the same road at this moment, or let's say a little bit earlier at this moment. But you can see the first quarter was already very, very bad. Very, very bad. Yeah, substations was better than expected with 31%. EV chargers minus 16%. Moin Nils, Digga, Grüße gehen raus. Raketenboy, Alter. Sorry guys, one of my best, so always need to show respect to the guys who deserve respect, let's say it like this. Actually had a birthday 1 week ago or something like this, and I was there with my girlfriend. It was a very great event, so much love to Lübeck, city in the north. However guys, so now I'm getting nervous, Niels. Yeah? You make me nervous, collega. However, as you can see here, minus 16% on the first glance looks a little bit negative, but the truth is they they had an incredible year, 2021 to 2022, with roughly 140% year-on-year growth. Yeah, and of course it's obvious they can't keep this momentum, this level of development, and so they had this kind of gap year, what they stated by themselves. Yeah, 1 year break, coming back with EV chargers and everything else, a little bit solid or growing whatsoever. And minus 16% was not that bad, because actually I think quarters ago it was more like 20, 30, 40% minus. Yeah, so not that negative. And 31% again was very good. But minus 8% battery energy storage systems was already a big hit into the face. You can't state it differently. I mean, I sat here directly on this location in this car and talked live to you guys 1.5 months ago, and I mentioned after the call, man, that's really some BS. So that's really not that nice. Yeah, it's not convincing me at all. I'm not sure what I will do if I invest more money, less money. I was sure the stock will price. I mean, it was aftermarket as always, like most companies announce the results aftermarket. Alfen kept it the same way, and I thought maybe I should just sell or whatsoever, and I decided to not do it. And who knows if it was the right move or not, but till today it wasn't the right one. And why that was the case, let's go back to this PowerPoint I especially for you prepared, and you can see that was my face 1 week ago. I was in the Netherlands in Almere 1 week ago. It looks like I did this already 2 months ago, and I'm an oracle, and I already knew with my glass ball that what the future will bring. But that is actually not the case. The truth is that I was there last week as well, by accident, by coincidence, for business. And I think on, what was it, on Tuesday or on Wednesday, the news have been announced. The news which I will show you in a moment, and which had the result that the stock price decreased really like a nightmare, and one day by roughly 50%. Yeah, let's say from roughly 32 euros to roughly 16 euros. Crazy. I mean, luckily I was quite covered and busy with my professional job. I needed to cover the tasks and reach my targets there. The reason why I was on this business trip. On the other hand, it hit me really like out of nowhere, and I really thought, okay, I need to go there. I need to somehow see it, make a photo, which might be a little bit funny at least, and might be a reminder for myself what can result if, or what can be the result if you are invested in stocks. I mean, not everything is funny, not everything is good times, but of course I was not really crying, and it was more a joke. But yeah, I guess some of you felt like this when they have seen those news. And what have this news? What are these news about? Let's go on and share the screen here as well. And I hope you can see it. Wait, let me check this out. Yeah, with a small notebook, not always the simplest case, but we will somehow manage it. So guys, here's 26th of June. Let me show, let me quickly peek. It was on Wednesday. So Wednesday, I guess early in the morning, this news have been announced, and you can see here, Alfen decides to adjust 2024 guidance and reassesses midterm objectives. Okay, and yeah, okay, I mean everything was already done from me. Yeah, price was already dropped, was quite stable on the 16 US dollars, dropping a little bit further down, increased a little bit, come back, but it was more or less 16 US dollars. So I took my time and I really thought, oh man. And because at the last call, I already stated, if something like this happens in the next earnings release or the release afterwards, or maybe even in advanced, they will already announce to reduce slightly, just on a small, teeny tiny level, the guidance, the expectations in terms of revenue and profit. I will not wait forever in being invested into this company. Gap year, okay, fine, but I always stated, I expect and I want to see what they stated, what the management communicated, that latest second business year 2024, they will recover, the business comes back, and they will go back to the growth momentum and to the path of growth. And yeah, it was actually earlier than I expected, because yeah, somehow last Wednesday this took place. And you can see here, it was, I guess it was not just, it's not just about that the lowering of the revenue target of business year 2024. It was just an amount of different kind of factors and how it was communicated, and again other different negative aspects which come in line. And about those we will discuss a little bit. So I guess, guys, we go together a little bit through it. Yeah, it will not take too much time. And then I will go on with my presentation and show you what is my opinion about it. And maybe I hope I will cover this in 1 hour. However, let's say I will just stick to the plan, and as long as my battery and the battery of this notebook is still active and charged, I will go on with it. However, try to push it a little bit quicker than I already did. Okay, guys, so as you can see here, they stated what they stated already in the last earnings call. Yeah, so basically deals, so commercial decisions getting postponed, and already originally they told, okay, in the last earnings call from Q1, they expected a lot of deals which should get made in Q1. They told, okay, it will get made in or finalized in Q2 this business year. Now they told, oh, it's not working like this. So very likely it's getting postponed to earliest second year of 2024, second half of year 2024. And it's not like buying some candies or whatsoever, because the actual money transfer, the revenue, takes place then as soon as those different kind of milestones getting achieved, like contract signing, 10% of the amount of the deal, and then installation and delivery readiness, another 20% for instance, then shipment and arrival to the sampling location, another 20% whatsoever, and then installation, commissioning, activation, and maybe final approval by the customer. This might be some kind of regular milestones in this kind of process of a execution phase of a deal, from signature till really the substation EV charger or battery storage system is working. And so, yeah, if they can't close the deals in the first business half of this year, very likely a lot of revenue impact takes place in 2025. And this is what they're communicating here by doing this. Yeah. So they told, okay, that's the reason, especially in ESS, that means energy storage systems. It has an impact of 20%, lower revenue than expected. Then they told, okay, we are suffering from some supply constraints with smart grid solutions, so we're basically with substations, and that it leads to another 5% lower revenue for 2024. And so they decided to adjust the guidance, which is, I think, they are somehow obligated to do, and just transparent and fair to do it, to lower the guidance from, let's say, midpoint. How much is it? 70, so 625 million to 2.5 million euros for 2024. So let's say 120 million or more than 20%. Yeah. And this means actually, because let's go back to the Excel sheet, and you can see here, wait, maybe I can. So last year they achieved a revenue of 504 million. You can see it here in the middle. And the target actually was already 570 million, so they missed it very, very strongly by another 15%, something like this. So last year, roughly 500 million. This year, with the midpoint of, let's go back, the midpoint of 502.5 million euros revenue, basically plus minus 0% growth. That's the situation. Yeah, not any plus by 20% year on year, 0%. For, let's say, a company where you expect they will do some growth, they have some really up-to-date product portfolio and big future, a lot of tailwind by all those different aspects in Europe, and the demand of renewable energy storage or in general renewable energy solutions. Yeah, so that was of course a big hit. And guys, don't forget, let's see here, that's the price of Alfen and the history. I mean, it reached a newer peak. It was not the all-time peak. All-time peak is something, I think, 120 euros, something like this, like in 2021, 2020. But they reached a recent peak with roughly $63 in the mid of February this year. And from then it went down, You can see here. This is the point in time, the 20th of May, when the first news, like what you have seen earlier, the last earnings results, when they have been announced, it get already hit it. You can see here from, let's say, 42 to 36, so roughly 15%, in one day. And from there on, it dropped further and further and further. Yeah, you can see here 32, from 36 to 32, so another 10%. Yeah, like, so let's say since this point in time, since they mentioned, okay, we will stick to our midterm guidance and we will reach still the target, what I've stated here in the Excel sheet, of 15% growth for EV chargers, 20% growth for substations, and 37% or something like this, at least say roughly, for the storage systems. They will stick to it. But however, the results in terms of storage solutions was really, really bad. Since this point in time, since they announced this kind of information, the stock went already down 25%. And now after the news, let's go back. After the news, the stock tanked further again, 50%. So there's already one reason what was for me quite surprising, is that the hit was that strongly, honestly, guys. Because yes, I understand, you expect from a growth company growth, and enough is enough sometimes. Same for me. And last earnings call here at the 20th of May, it was already quite serious for me, and the relationship, which was not the romantic one, but almost, to Alfen. Yeah. But it tanked. So I expected there was already some kind of negative development priced in, because it already tanked 25%. It already tanked earlier. And it was really not, you can see the 5-year chart. Again, it was not a peak. It tanked basically since, now we see it, since July of 2022. So it tanked. And yeah. I expected it was already some negative momentum priced in, but I was very likely wrong, because it tanked way more after this announcement of this negative guidance correction. And you're asking yourself, okay, why? Yeah, maybe because there's even more. Yeah, and let's go on with it. Yeah, so here they're mentioning they often takes 2 one-offs totaling 11.1 million euros for provision and obsolete inventory. We come back later to it. Then you get it in details. Then they reassess the financial objectives for the medium term. So they always mentioned in the past that they have medium term targets. So for roughly, I think, between 2025 and 2027, they wanted to achieve, I think it was 1 billion euros revenue, yeah, per year. And so this kind of targets and some kind of a level of profitability, positive free cash flow, whatsoever, those targets, they will reassess. So they will adjust them maybe, yeah. So I mean, you think, okay, you have a small gap like this, it's already very unfortunate and you feel uncomfortable. Okay, here's some awkward stuff, might be not a big number, but this one as well for me on the first glance sounds very, very negative, because honestly, every nightmare needs to have an end. Yeah, you need to at least see slightly the end of the funnel, some light which is shining through. Yeah, some potential. And when you see, okay, they will reassess the financial objectives of midterm, very likely it's not like they want to adjust it in a positive way. No, they want to lower them. Yeah. And that, of course, is something what you don't want to live with. You rely on, and yeah, every investor has other options to invest their money. And they then afterwards, what I actually appreciate very, very strongly, they set up a conference call on the same day and have been confronted with questions of investor houses, yeah, investor companies. This is what I like very, very much, because not everyone is doing this. Like Period Network, what I experienced 1.5, 2 months ago. Those who are following me know what happened, or those who have been invested to Period Network, company from Israel, know what happened and went wrong. You can do your research by yourself, but they actually did not a conference call at the same day, which created way more negative rumors, more and more rumors. They provide a lower level of information and transparency, and when a human don't have information, yeah, like whatever, you are in a relationship and you are not sure where your girlfriend is or whatsoever, yeah, or your boyfriend, whoever you are, and then you start your brain starts to work and you're getting creative, and most of the time you finalize your thoughts with a negative story, not with a positive one. It's getting more and more negative, let's say like this. That's the same. I mean, you need to be transparent. You need to always, in my opinion, provide your investors a lot of information, and this is what Alfen tried to do, at least from my perspective. Not everyone is doing this in this situation. Maybe there are reasons, maybe there are valuable and valid reasons, but I as an investor, I'm always happy and appreciate if I get some information, let's say like this. So, however, let's go a little bit more deeper, yeah? And yeah, look, basically what they are mentioning here, maybe we can save a little bit time on this, is that you can see here those lead times again, yeah. So the deals in terms of the first part is about the energy storage solutions, and what happened here. One more time here, ESS, and you can see here there's some postponements, and you can see, for instance, increased lead times to obtain and realize a grid connection in countries such as Netherlands and Sweden. Yeah, so somehow the fundament to connect them are not existing. So basically, there should get maybe some wind farms realized in those countries, some other sources of energy or some other projects. And of course, it's nonsense to close deals for those project developers or the operators of those projects if they get postponed, these projects. Yeah, so they don't need to purchase right now energy storage systems or substations or whatsoever, but in this regard, it's about storage systems. Yeah, those can be the reasons. This is what they're stating here, and they state as well there is more competition, and through the higher competition and the lower price level which results out of it, decisions getting as well postponed. Yeah, and the result is again the ESS declines year on year with approximately 20%. Yeah. Then they come to the smart grid solutions, so to the substations. And here it's a different story. Maybe I should open one more time the website, and I hope I can find it quickly. But I think we need to go to investors and to news, and yeah, here it is. So basically they have a type of substations which is called Pacto transformers, and they had an issue with moisture, with water inside, and it's electricity. That's not good at all. And they mentioned they have this kind of issues, but they are solving it currently, and they took 5 million euros. They took 5 million euros to make sure to solve these issues, in terms of production, in terms of the substations which already getting delivered to the end destinations. And basically they mention as well this will not have a strong impact. They will somehow come back during the year, very likely producing more whatsoever. The impact is comparatively small. No, they will still keep their growth targets for the year. And now they mentioned no, it has a bigger impact than expected, because the company, the supplier, the external one, who's providing the concrete houses, they are basically not that flexible, I guess, and they can't roll out that many of concrete housings for the substations as Alfen expected, to cover the miss of the issues they had in the first months. So somehow it will have an impact. And they mentioned, okay, so only 5% growth, not anymore. Let me quickly check it. Not anymore 20%. 20% was, I think, the target, if I remember correctly, or if I see it correctly. Now it's only 5%. So here it was stated originally something like 40% or less, and it is now minus 20% year on year. Substations, it was stated 20% was the guidance originally. Now it's 5%. And now we come to EV chargers. And EV chargers, they're basically arguing about there's a relationship or a correlation between electrical vehicle sales and EV charger sales. Might be useful, reasonable, might make sense. I'm not too big into it, but sounds reasonable, I guess. As a non-professional in this business. And so they mentioned, it's coming back and whatever, but currently there's what they mentioned here, I think 2% only year-on-year growth in terms of I think it is it cars? I guess so, or something like this. So basically the result or the development is way slower than expected in the comeback, and so this has as well an impact. They mentioned that smaller cars and models and more affordable ones getting rolled out end of 2024, beginning of 2025. But the business year 2024 is then already gone, and it will come back. So the original target of, which was it? How much? 15% we're not getting achieved. It will be more like 5 till 10%. So as well here, negative. And guys, don't forget two aspects at this point in time. First of all, they have 3 different major product lines, and for all of them they're missing somehow their guidance, and for all of them for different reasons. It's not like there is a COVID pandemic going on and it hits all the different industrial sectors. It's really like all of them different reasons. So this is something what you need to keep in mind. So you think, okay, is it bad products? Is it really that unlucky? Is it just the renewable sector, or is it bad management, bad guidance, what they communicate? What is the reason for it? So there's definitely a bitter taste which comes in line with it. And the second aspect is, look guys, they're calculating with growth since months and quarters. That's the reason why they opened their new headquarters. They invested, I think, 10 million euros for this new headquarters, which is comparatively a lot. They invested it to really expand, create synergies. They hired new staff members, all of this kind of stuff. to getting more competitive, because they have been kind of burnt in the Corona pandemic, I guess, and with the right afterwards, when companies, customers, business customers inquired and reached out further and more often to Alfen and asked for more and more products. Yeah. So I guess this time they wanted to be prepared on a better way. So all of this costs money, and all of this is a little bit unfortunate, let's say it like this. And of course, all of this has as well impact on the EBITDA or just EBITDA level, so basically on the profit side. Yeah, so they mention here, that is something, again, something negative. Yeah, they need 7.5 million more to cover the potential impact of the substation moisture. Yeah, so this is something what you think, awkward, because I mean, let's see it one more time. This was this news. End of April, they mentioned they need 5 million for this moisture problem. Yeah, you think, okay, it's fine, they're communicating it, they are transparent, they did a mistake or there was a mistake, can happen. Okay, and they use 5 million to solve it. And then, let's say, roughly 2 months later, they already mentioned, okay, we need 150% more. We don't need 5 million, we need 12.5 million, if I'm not mistaken. Guys, correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, again, there is no guarantee of any correctness of the provided data. Yeah, I'm not the professional one or whatsoever, but I by myself, I think, how can this be? Yeah, that's not that nice. You think, man, there are stuff involved, and is it like, is it because the team is not perfectly in shape and competent, or is it like, is it just difficult to analyze what is the result of it? How much money you put back in your pocket for as provisions to cover those problems, those issues, to face them. Yeah, that's something not nice. And in general, all of this is not that nice, because let's say one more time, 1.5 months ago, they had their guidance, they had their earnings call. Yeah, they had their earnings release, and they mentioned, okay, midterm guidance is stable and we will stick to our targets. It's just postponed by 1 quarter. 1.5 months later, they tell, no, all of their product lines are affected. All of them are affected by different reasons. Yeah, and of course you think, you start to interpret. Yeah, your brain is really storming around, and you think, okay, it's no growth year on year, which is really sad. But is the management, is the staff, is the company itself, is it capable to run this business? Because all of this misses of expectations and postponements and whatsoever, and adjustments. Yeah. So at least this was my thoughts, have been my thoughts. And then there's another 3.6 million which they need to put back. Yeah, so these are the 11.1 million, basically what they stated here at the beginning, for EV charger parts. For me, not that. Maybe it's even the worst story. I don't know, but that's not that important. That's not that essential for me. Let's say it like this. But there's something as well what they somehow, I guess, need to utilize, write off, however you want to state it. Yeah. So they mentioned, yeah, okay, the adjusted EBITDA is lower because they have this one-off events, and obviously they are not creating so much revenue. That will have as well an impact on the profitability for this year. And then they corrected not just the profitability. I mean, they always mentioned it come back, and now they're stating it's a one-digit number, like something like 5% adjusted EBITDA or something like this maybe. But they always mention as well for 2024 the target is positive free cash flow, which for a lot of investors out there is definitely a crucial number, and reasonably, I guess. Yeah, I mean, not a single number is never for its own that important, but combined with other numbers, it's getting a certain value. And I, Stanley Nestaraya, no problem at all, man. I'm very grateful or thankful that you joined, and you can check it out later. And you can leave me a comment or send me a DM if you like. Always open for it. Yeah? Have a great day, colleague. Okay, coming back. Sorry, someone left a comment at the chat. You can use it as well if you like. So, guys, and then they mentioned now, okay, it will not be a positive one, it will be a negative free cash flow. Yeah, so as well, somehow dumping the expectations and hitting you as an investor and creating more negative momentum. Yeah, but improved to 2023. But however, it was not a great year. Again, they missed their revenue expectations from 570 million to 504 million euros. Yeah, so it was not a great year. You should, yeah, it's somehow improving, but yeah, and you can see it here. And then basically the CEO, they are, you can see here he's mentioning that they need to make sure, I mean, they are convinced that they can be more profitable as a company, but now they need to assess as well and figuring out how they can restructure or somehow the company to go with this development, with this growth, or not existing growth, and on the other hand, being flexible if the demand should rise in the future, to adapt to it and cover the demand of the market. Yeah. So when economy comes back, or the demand by the different renewable energy project developers and operators. Yeah. So so that is definitely, I guess, a big challenge. Big challenge. You need good management to find this balance between cutting costs, releasing staff, making more efficient the processes whatsoever, yeah, this kind of stuff. And on the other hand, not cutting it too strongly to be available or able to cover higher demand. That's definitely a big challenge. It's not that easy, you know. And if you have doubt already because they missed a lot of guidance and somehow opened the headquarters too early or whatsoever, I mean, guys, it's not easy. It's not an easy business. It's not easy to set up this kind of guidances and expectations and forecasts as a management. For sure not. I have zero clue how you do this actually. And I would completely miss very likely. And if I would not miss, it would be completely like winning a lottery. Yeah, but however, I mean, if you see all this negative stuff, you think, okay, man, now it's getting actually, now the boat, yeah, is driving through a rough sea. Now it's really rough. The weather is rough, and now we need good management. And already the history, based on the history, you think, oh, maybe they didn't perform that well. So can they really manage to and be capable to be successful in the upcoming quarters? Yeah, in this more, yeah, let's say headwind confronted situation. And then what they mentioned here as well, yeah, the medium financial objectives, of course, midterm financial objectives. So basically we will figuring out in the upcoming business half, or the ongoing, honestly, on the ongoing business half, business year, half of business year, of the half of the business year, sorry guys, how they will adjust their guidance for 2025, 6 and 2027, 28, we will see. Yeah. And another aspect is, not sure where it's stated here, but that's something crucial as well. They very likely need some financial support and are in conversations with financial institutions, because there is always the risk to running out of cash when you lose cash or when you don't make a lot. Yeah. So that is as well something which I guess related in this heavy price drop, because in the end people thought maybe they go broke. They are not solvent anymore. They're facing bankruptcy. Can be the case. Completely relate to it. Can understand. For me, it was not on the first glance my idea, and I don't think it's that likely. However, yeah, it's an aspect. Guys, a lot of information. Breathe in, breathe out. I will quickly check up if someone is still watching the stream, just because I'm curious about it. And I hope the connection is well, actually, because it was not always in the past that well. Yeah, 3 people are still viewing. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much, man. Very happy, very satisfied about this. And again, feel free to ask any questions or use the channel, the chat differently. Okay, guys, and now we come back to my opinions about the current situation. And look, guys, maybe we start with the valuation. Yeah, so here we go. and you can see the market cap currently, or let's say the enterprise value, is roughly 480 million US dollars after the hit on the price. Yeah, 480 million US dollars, and they're achieving a revenue of roughly, we talked about it, 500 million euros, so roughly let's say 550 million US dollars. So it is basically an EV sales ratio of less than 1. So I measured it 3 days ago, and let's say I always calculate with the future. I always look into the future, and all these numbers more or less are 2024, 2025 expectations, so a mixture out of both numbers. But currently the EV sales ratio is already below 1, and for 2024, 2025 I expect a 1 which is below, or let's say roughly 0.7, which is very, very low. You can see here other companies where I'm a shareholder of, the colored ones, or I added as well as reference NVIDIA and PayPal. So for those who don't know the other companies, you have a more clear picture what kind of numbers I'm calculating with. Then we have, or what I expect is a 20% growth rate 2024, 2025. Yeah, so obviously 2023, 2024 there's not so much going on, 0% growth. We already discussed it a few moments ago, but I expect they come back. Yeah, there are a lot of reasons for it, and if they are not, completely they miss the reason why I'm invested in it, let's say it like this, and missed completely the target, completely the guideline and the guidance what they stated. We can see the price earnings ratio is 11. This will that's not 100% up to date. I mean, it will come back 2024, 2025 if they really increase the growth to 20%. Yeah, and business is getting more healthy, let's say like this. Then something like this, a price earnings ratio is not unrealistic, but currently it's definitely way worse. I think it's something like 30 or 40, and maybe it's getting even worse in second half of business year. I calculate not with any profit at all. Not adjusted EBITDA, nothing. That is what I calculate with, even though they're stating it's a single digit number. And so, but however, when you take a look at this fair price multiplicator, which is just a number how you can compare as an end result different companies to each other, and of course you always need to keep in mind there are different industries. Yeah, so like a new Brazilian bank, and 1.6 is not that great, like a 1.6 in the digital sector. Let's say like SentinelOne in the cybersecurity. Yeah, so some sectors you need to keep in mind that the valuation is way higher or lower. I'm sure you are experienced about this, but you can see, I mean, yes, it's a producing industry, often in the renewable sector, and the renewable sector in general gets hit quite strongly, but 6.0, yeah, is now, from my perspective, cheap. It is cheap. When they come back on track, when the economy stays stable, when the renewable sector stays stable, when Alfen survives it and not getting bankrupt or something like this, and the demand rises back to normal, then from my perspective the current valuation or the current price of roughly 18 euros or something like this is for sure cheap. That's just my opinion. And you can see here from one period to another, so that's one, it get even cheaper and cheaper. So that's just in terms of valuation, yeah? So you have an idea what is my view on the price. But this is something, I mean, if things go worse and they do not achieve any growth in 2025 or even 2026, not any profit, not recovering here, all of those numbers is not worth a dime. It's nothing, it's useless. Yeah, that is what you need to keep in mind. But based on my assumptions, which are again, I think not too high, if development comes or assumptions come as I expected, then the current price level, the current valuation is not that negative. And I think there's again, it was already dropped as I explained it, the price, and now it get hit very, very strong one more time. And for me, it was a little bit too strong, because I think really the structure of the negative news, the amount of negativeness in different directions, like really the management which might be not capable, the market which is working in the right direction, the financial stability is maybe even critical for Alfen, all of these kind of aspects are not running in the right directions, and you can quickly think it's confronted with really serious issues, and it might be even the case. I don't expect it, but it might be realistic. But if you think like this, I completely understand that you lower the value to a very low number for the company. And in my opinion, the mixture, the blend of all this news, if it should be like this now, I mean, whereas one cockroach, a lot of times there are more cockroaches, more negative aspects. But I honestly assume that, or I hope at least, expect that the largest piece of negative energy is now consumed. It's done. I hope at least. Nobody knows it. The management don't know it. We don't know it. But this is what is my assumption is, and that is the reason why I see here the valuation, or I show you the valuation, and I think it's not that critical. But let's go further. I did a small risk chances analysis. As you can see here. And so basically, the biggest risks, you can see already always the risk, what is my assumption, what I think it's definitely valuable, and the chances of this risk takes place or it doesn't take place. So it's likely, unlikely, or neutral. And you can see here, the first one is the inadequate management and persistent false expectations. Actually, I translated it by default by an online translator, so if the wording is not perfect, I'm very sorry, but please don't take it too negatively and don't blame me too strongly. However, first aspect, negative management, let's say it like this, not capable management. And that is for me by far the strongest one. I mean, for me, the fundament of the business is nice. I still like it's still the original investment thesis. Renewable business in Europe, a lot of support and positive momentum for this industry. Alfen has a good location in the Netherlands. Netherlands itself is a strong market. Neighboring countries are very strong. Western Europe is quite demanding in terms of renewable energy solutions. North Europe, like Scandinavia as well. So spot on. The circumstances are not that bad. They're prepared for higher demand in the future. But if the management is bad and they need to somehow steering now the company through this rough seas, very difficult. Next one, lower profitability. You can see it already here. Two crucial price reductions. So I mean, competition is going on. A lot of competition comes out of China. Actually, I had a conversation with a Dutch person who might be a potential customer as well in the future of battery storage systems, because he's director of a company in the Dutch market, and he requested, I think, if I'm not mistaken, so no guarantee here, and just his words, he requested some quotes as well from energy storage providers, and I think he received 20 quotes or offers from 24 different companies for his project. And at the end, 10 of them was in the more final decision bucket. And so just that you have a feeling for it. There's really it's a crowded place. There's a lot of competition going on. A lot of competition not from just Europe, from other countries, especially US, especially Asia, China. They can very likely manufacture the solutions for way lower conditions. Same with EV cars. Every one of us is aware about Build Your Dreams and this kind of companies. And from B2B, it's not that different actually. So competition is going on, and that has of course an impact on the lower prices. And this again is resulting in lower profit margins. Next one is reduction in medium-term sales guidance. So again, they're stating already they will reassess it. Reassess doesn't mean they need to reduce it. Maybe they come back as quickly, really like a lightning bolt. You're not expecting it, and out of nowhere, somehow in 2026, 2027 they reach their 1 billion euro revenue target. Maybe they will reach it somehow, but it's not unlikely that they recess it and adjust it into the negative. Yeah. Then you can see here they further reduce the short-term sales guidance and further financial cuts, not just an impact on 2025 and later, but as well on 2024 even maybe. It would not be the first time. Actually, they adjust their guidance quite spontaneously for 2023 last year, as well in advance of an earnings release date. That now they adjusted it for 2024, and who knows if it will be the last time for 2024 or 2025 or both. Yeah. So I mean they are confronted, as you can see, with additional challenges in production and revision of substations, this moisture issue, and the supply chain, which is confronted with challenges. General lower market demand, increased competition in terms of EV chargers and BESS, I already talked before, and other unforeseen events. And I think that is as well not that unlikely. Yeah, it's likely or even neutral. Yeah, something in between. But where one cockroach is another one. Yeah, yes, you can think very optimistic about all of this and think that's the last time. Yeah, it was a few times in the past, but this is the last negative news. I guess there is more to come, and even things which might be result in a positive outcome later on, for now can be very negative. Yeah. Then we have, and all of this can actually result in a very positive outcome. Sometimes this kind of experience needs to be made to provide even better services, even better products, have even a more efficient process in the company, and achieve higher satisfaction at customers. All of this can result in this, but for now, it's negative. And last but not least, high financial obligations, and which can actually impact really the growth path. It's already starting with it, and the impact on profitability. You can see, I mean, the fixed costs are increased to do unutilized staff. Now they have already almost, I think, 1,000 people who are active for Alfen. They hired a lot of staff members during the past years, and now they somehow need to utilize it. Otherwise, you have a huge amount of money you need to transfer each month to their bank accounts, and you can't utilize them right. And even firing them costs money sometimes, very likely, yeah. And of course there are humans behind it, yeah. So if some people starts to getting fired, you're not feeling so comfortable anymore as an employee for Alfen, yeah. And maybe then you are not getting, or you're not that motivated anymore. You are anxious and afraid to go to work or whatsoever. It might be the case. You never know. Just something I want to bring to the map, yeah. However, production facility, new headquarters need to get utilized. It's never reasonable. I mean, you always ideally want to use the capacity of production 90% or something like this. Not too high, not too low. But if they only can utilize it with 50%, 60% of the original target, not that great. Yeah. And the new financing, of course. If they need new money, they need to pay further interests, and currently interest rates are quite high, even in Europe. Even they're getting lower, yeah. So, but it's still high. And you can see as well the variable cost, the flexible cost, like the purchase volume for sales getting lower. So their synergies are not that strong anymore. The goods inventory might be larger. They already had an issue in the past that the inventory of goods, so the storage have been full with kind of goods, and that's not that great to have this kind of situation, because all of this is basically money, which is binded in non-profitable way, and it's not working for you. So this is another aspect. And penalties, of course, can as well be an aspect, and because of contracts and projects in the substation business. Yeah, I mean, they have very likely some targets and terms in the agreements with different kind of grid providers for substations, and if they can't manage to deliver their goods, not that great. Then we have some other aspects which might be minor or might be more heavy in the future. For me, they are not that crucial at the moment, but one aspect is for sure the departure of the experienced staff. Like the current CEO, there's always a risk he's leaving the board. Yeah, this can be as well a chance for the future. On the other hand, he's experienced. Yeah, he's not since 2 months active for the company, and currently there is just an interim CFO, so timely, limited CFO active for Alfen, and this might be a reason why the old one left the company, and actually they had already a new one, but this one as well left the company in the trial period, or somehow from both sides they thought it's not a good fit. However, they don't have a final CFO at the moment, and to cover this kind of positions can be difficult as well in difficult times. I mean, some managers like to have this kind of situations. A lot of them avoid it. Same like at Boeing at the moment. Yeah, so it's hard for them to find a new CEO because it's just risky for your career to go to this kind of companies in these situations. Then of course the lower demand based on political realignments. Yeah, so a lot of how you call this? Shit, I need to check it quickly. Always forget this word. So it's called elections. Yeah, a lot of elections are ongoing, like France last weekend, and yeah, you can see that a lot of more like quite populistic, national-orientated parties getting more and more power, and there's always the risk that they're changing the strategies and where the national money getting addressed and directed into, and maybe renewable energy might not be anymore the strong focus. Yeah, so this can happen as well as focus as well, and of course there's the risk that the entire production line of battery energy storage systems getting cancelled. Yeah, because it's just simply not competitive anymore, not profitable anymore. Something like this exists as well, but that's just the negative. Yeah. And I want to come to the positive, because really now I really talked so much about negative stuff, and I'm not that negative. I mean, there is a large risk, and honestly, my first idea was really after those news to sell all the shares I'm currently holding of Alfen, but then really I thought twice. And why? You can see it here. Definitely some chances left, so start with the stronger ones. So basically I think, even though maybe the markets see different, I think the company itself is more or less financially stable. Yeah. Yes, they can run out of cash, and that's always a risk, but in the end the business case is existing. Yeah, and yes, they're burning very likely cash, but however, I guess if as soon as they reach out to the bank institution or whatsoever, they will get some external money, some debt. Yeah, they can leverage it, because I mean they have long-lasting contracts with a lot of different players. I mean, we are talking about larger investment volumes. Yeah, these deals are not about, again, 10,000 euros or something like this. I mean, when they have deals with the largest electrical grid providers in the Netherlands, these deals are for millions of euros and covered for years and years. Yeah, so and they will not change that quickly. This business case is existing. It's not like you granting someone, a company, a money which are producing Nokia phones, and everyone knows they are not anymore state of the art. That's not the situation. Yeah, so they have this kind of solid income streams and constant capacity utilization. It's not they're dropping from 100% to zero. Then there are those catch-up effects, which are basically the management of Alfen is always pointing to. So in terms of commercial EV chargers, as soon as new EVs are getting rolled out and whatsoever, the demand of EV chargers will increase as well on the same level, or more or less there is a correlation, and the same with BESS. So the deals are just postponed, very likely second half of this business year whatsoever. And as soon some grid issues in Sweden and the Netherlands are fixed or whatsoever, then the deal's getting finalized and income comes back. So I think that's as well, I trust the management here. I trust it. Yeah. So first of all, I think substations will come back for sure. I'm quite confident with this because of this long-lasting business deals. I hope they can't get cancelled, this kinds of deals, and it's not too concerning for their customers, and there are not some awkward terms inside of the purchase agreements that they can really step back from it. That would be not that nice. That would be really a pain in the ass. Sorry for my French, but yeah, that's just the case. In terms of EV chargers and battery energy storage systems, I'm not 100% sure about, but I guess some kind of demand will come back. We will see. Big question is on which level it will come back. Then the increased market demand in general due to interest rates. So let's take a look on the interest rates. One moment. Guess here we are. Can you see it? Yeah, and you can see that just a few weeks ago, first time after a couple of months, the European Central Bank decreased and lowered the interest rate from 4.5 to 4.25%. Yeah, so by 0.25% or 0.25%, which is great. And yeah, it's just the beginning, you know. So we are a little bit earlier than the U.S. American Fed, for instance, and that's a great development. And you need to know that the renewable business, I mean, establishing wind farm projects, solar projects, this kind of stuff, and all these components which are needed as well from Alfen, all of this is quite capital intensive. Yeah. So I mean, this business is more or less just profitable for the ones who are running these parks, these wind farms, or operating it, or developing it, because there's a certain lever involved. Yeah. So debt money. Yeah. Without using debt money, and you need to invest and finance the whole project 100% with your own money. Without a lever, it's not working out that strongly, if not at all. And so as soon as interest money getting lower and lower, more projects getting rolled out in this regard, and more potential projects in which EV chargers getting installed, and substations and ESS. Yeah. So interest rate is a big aspect, and it's a big aspect why I think that even though it's not maybe coming back in the upcoming business half of the upcoming business year. No, upcoming business year half. I think that's the right wording. Even though this will not take place. Even in the first half of the upcoming business year, 2025, it's not recovering. It's okay, fine. It's fine for me, because on the midterm, I guess, just because of the interest rate, and the interest rate has a huge aspect in this regard, more and more demand will occur, and somehow Alfen will participate. No matter if they will win all of them or almost none of them, but somehow business coming back because of this. Coming to the next point, the improvement of the profitability. So what you need to know is first, I mean, when we talk about the different product types, so basically the more legacy business, substations and EV chargers are higher margin business, and energy storage systems is low margin business. And so therefore, because of the high competition basically, and I guess as well the purchase conditions of battery cells as well for Alfen. And now the margins could come a little bit back, because they will increase the revenue with EV chargers and with substations, and therefore, yeah, having a higher part with products, larger part with products with higher margins, of course the overall average profit margin increases. So that's an aspect. And another chance, I mean, it's a risk, but it's as well a chance, is the restructuring work which the company will be confronted with, and I guess which comes in hand with the reassessment of the midterm guidance. Yeah. So I mean, if there is the the result of it is, the final decision by the management, we really need to cut costs, reduce staff, change the focus, maybe not producing battery storage systems anymore in the future. Who knows? Being in general more cost efficient, optimize and streamlining the process and just the overall culture and mindset of the company. Because I think they have been very early adopters in terms of EV chargers, and they participated great, but things getting more serious. Competition is rising, demand is lowering. So when you are a little bit too confident sometimes in some directions, I'm not sure if that was the case, but might be the case, is a chance, is at least an option. You sometimes maybe need to work as well on it and make sure that everyone in the staff knows, okay guys, sometimes you are driving through more pleasant seasons, and sometimes situations getting more serious and critical. And maybe we are right now in the situations in terms of Alfen. So all of this can result as well in more profitability, and maybe they reach a level of profitability they never thought about in the past. They can reach it, even by not firing one staff member, but might be a part of it. And then we have as well here some, for me, minor aspects. So first of all, which is positive, is the competitive despite suboptimal pricing. What I mean with this is basically they have in a certain level of reputation in the market. They are made in Europe, made in Germany, no, not made in Germany, made in the Netherlands, but made in Europe. They have a certain network of suppliers, of agents, of whatever, distributors, customers, authorities. They are well connected, and they have a lot of references in Europe, basically, in all of these different businesses. So this, even though maybe they not provide the best prices in the future, and then I don't know their pricing, I guess they need to lower it as well very strongly to stay competitive, because all of this is not working out if you are providing the highest prices. But if you are providing slower, higher prices than your competitors, all of this might be an aspect that you still win a tender, still win the project, win the deal, and achieving income. Then we have increased market demand due to larger EU-wide subsidy volumes, so funding, basically funding programs. I can imagine that they're getting rolled out stronger in the future. In Germany, we had, in terms of EVs, electric cars, we had very strong ones, and that's the reason, one reason as well why I purchased my car. Not sure if I would purchase it without it, but that was definitely a deal. So for instance, the tax was not existing or almost not existing in this regard. I mean, it was resulting as well out of the corona pandemic. But I mean, there is definitely a chance EU-wide subsidies getting increased in the future, I guess. At least in the substation business, because electrical grid are mandatory, absolutely system relevant, like banks in 2008. And they need to make sure electrical grid is working. There are not some kind of deadlocks, and some bottlenecks. And so I can imagine this be the case. And maybe here I can show as well with you, share something with you, news. And you can see here, Dutch demand continues to outstrip supply despite record grid investments. So look, they mentioned here, can you see it? Yes, you can see it. According to Alliander, which is an electrical grid provider or grid operator from the Netherlands, traffic jams will recur on the Dutch electricity network for at least another 10 years. So, I mean, you can see they're investing, and those are ones of the large ones, or the largest ones, or the only ones in the Netherlands maybe. You can see they invested in 2023 1.4 billion euros, in different kind of equipment. And next is another local operator invested 1.2 billion euros, and another one, Stedin, invested another 800 million euros in this kind of stuff. Substations, you can see it here, 266 new substations. And guess who's the supplier for this kind of stuff? come, let's take a look at the latest earnings, not the latest, but the yearly latest. Yeah, so from 2023, that's the latest presentation of Alfen. And you can see here, smart grid, so substations. Who are the customers? Leander, Aliander. I guess it's the same, yeah. I mean, it has the same logo. Didn't do further research, do it by yourself, but 90% is the same company, yeah. Same enterprise. Stedin, they mentioned Stedin. Then here, how it called, Annexus, yeah, is this logo. So all of them are the customers, yeah. They are involved, they are in it to win it. And the demand is strong. The demand will stay strong. I mean, you can't build everywhere in the world and as well in Europe some data centers and digitalize everything, yeah, AI and whatever else. Yeah, so you can't digital the whole world, rolling out EVs and all of this without strong electrical grids. And so the demand of substations will be there. Yes, Alfen is just present in 4 countries, I think Netherlands, Belgium, Finland, and I think Sweden, but not 100% sure, 4 countries. But the good thing is, this is something what you can't copy that quickly and roll it out everywhere in the world. Substations are a lot of times adjusted on the specific demand requirements, technical requirements of the market. So you can't just produce or invent a new substation, roll it out everywhere in the world. That's not working like this. So here they are quite secured with their business. Of course, not the only provider, for sure not. I mean, there's ABB, there's Siemens, this kind of companies, yeah. But they have the foot into the door. They have long-lasting deals. I think with Stedin, it was one of the more new news that they won the deal. And this is something, from my perspective, very positive, yeah. So again, this is existing. What else? And even more or less impactful reasons or chances. Wait, I need to take another sip. So in my opinion, because of more staff members they hired, hopefully good ones, and new production facilities and office facilities, I think the fundament is existing to roll out the business even stronger and expand it stronger and in the future. And if the demand should increase, they are ready for it. That was always a target by the management. I think they accomplished it, or I am quite confident. I hope at least it is the case. And so that's something positive. Then almost the last bullet point is less competition, do industry consolidation. So I mean, the good thing is Alfen is quite diversified with 3 different product lines. Not everyone is like this. Some are just producers of EV chargers or have 100% focused of substations. And here they make 100 or 200 million with energy storage systems, a few 1 or 200 million with substations, and the same with EV chargers. So this company is diversified, and maybe not everyone will survive this competition in the future. And I see a chance because of this. Again, back to the chance number 1, financial stability and solid income streams. I see the potential that Alfen somehow survives the situation, the scenario. And if they survive, maybe not everyone out there survives. Yeah, you can see as well. I mean, let's go back, and I just want to show you. I mean, other companies like Enphase Energy, a company of inverters, of microinverters, a company who are vendor of microinverters. So basic microinverters getting connected to solar panels, and the microinverters to the whatever EV charging station, for instance, or to the battery in a private house, for instance, or in a company. So microinverters are quite strongly required for this kind of projects for solar farms. And they're producing microinverters, one of the most developed ones, I think, in the world. And they are as well, the price is lowering, and they're fighting with the circumstances. Or here, Solar Edge Technologies. I think it's an Israeli company. So of course, Israeli companies are confronted with special challenges at the moment. But you can see as well issues. Or Tesla, even Tesla. Yeah, okay, today they are up because I think they sold more EVs than expected. However, as well they are confronted with some headwind. yeah, and with some struggle. And so that is the situation, I guess, for a lot of players in this market at the moment. If they are publicly traded or not companies, yeah, like a stock market. It's not that unregular. It's not just Alfen who are struggling. And maybe there are companies who not will survive this kind of confrontation, yeah, with those circumstances. So I don't see it that strongly, that likely, but might be an aspect. And another one, the last one, is expansion of product portfolio. So I mean, there's always the chance, even though there's the risk that they're completely canceling the production of energy storage systems, there's the chance they have a complete new division maybe in the future. Yeah, whatever it will be. Maybe they will produce microinverters in the future, or I have no clue, man. I honestly not too deep into this business, yeah. But really, there are a lot of potential solutions which might fit into their product portfolio. And this as well with international presence. As I mentioned, substations just currently in 4 markets, and I think substations developed great as well in 2023, developed great in Q1. And I guess it would develop great if this kind of moisture issue with these Pacto substations would not be an aspect. And the concrete company, the supplier of it, for the cases, I guess it would still be really a sparkling, positive light and aspect for Alfen, for the company. Unfortunately not because of those circumstances. However, maybe they think, what is going well, what is not so going well in their management board meetings. And they think, okay, EV chargers comes back sooner or later. Substations, is very profitable. Energy storage systems, maybe the competition is too strong in the internationally whatsoever from Asia. They can roll it out too strongly. The volume of multiple thousands of even the demand is higher, thousands of storage systems. But yeah, maybe substations is a business case where we should set a higher focus on and roll it out even to further markets. I'm not an expert at all. I have zero knowledge about substations. But maybe this might be a case. And just to finalize the news flow for today, I want to show you some news one news in regard of energy storage systems. You can see here, why is Italy the new hot energy storage market? So it was already a 1-year-old news, but didn't change too heavy since then. Wait, I need to switch off the car. It's getting very cold, honestly. You can see that, I mean, in the past UK was really demanding. Why was UK demanding? You can see it here. The relatively high penetration of intermittent renewable energy and limited interconnection due to island location created a thriving market, yeah? So basically, the same as always, yeah? Covering, I mean, they have different sources of energy, and they somehow need to make sure that they can transfer it to the end consumer as soon as it is required. And energy storage systems help to save it and to deploy it and diversify it and address it to the end consumer as soon as it needed. That was the need in UK. And UK, I guess, is still very, very demanding. But now Italy is demanding very strongly. And what we can see here, why is the reason for Italy, for instance, slightly different? They say that 50% of the power which is generated is imported for natural gas, basically. Yeah, so they are strongly demanding and depending on natural gas, and they just want to make sure to be a little bit more independent in terms of imports. Yeah, especially I guess in situations like with the war, Ukrainian war, Russia and Ukraine. So there are different reasons, but basically always the same. Energy should get transferred as soon as it is needed. Yeah, energy power. And there are chances really that the demand is really serious high. It's not like that low. Yeah. So I need to switch on again the air condition because it's honestly, I need some air. Okay guys, let's go on. because I just see the battery goes lower and lower, man. I never expected the call will go on that longly. And just one chart I want to show you in terms of EV demand. You can see here EV chargers. AC and DC are different kind or different types of EV chargers, let's say it like this, and power supply. However, you can see no matter if you talk about AC or DC, it raised very strongly, at least DC, from 2021 to 2022. But both are decreasing, so the demand in general is lowering. It's not just a story, a fairy tale by Alfen management. It is really the case that the demand of EV chargers is getting lower at the moment. And I want to show you as well, here's the potential. And I hope I find this quickly. You can see here a number of EV chargers. So it's not really balanced. Yeah, you can see there's always a number of EV chargers per 100,000 citizens of a country. You can see really like Poland or whatsoever, it's extremely low, just 10 EV chargers or public chargers on 100,000 citizens. So there's strong potential. Why the situation is very different in Netherlands, for instance, and even though in Germany we are not that strong, Netherlands has 6 times the number. But you see here as well, the demand in the Netherlands, in the home market, is very likely not that strong anymore. Alfen needs to take care to expand and land the business in other countries. And I think they are currently active in 16 countries, so it is already on the path. And you can see, are there enough EV charging points in Europe? Yeah. And they're stating that what do we have here? From McKinsey suggests that the European Union will need at least 3.4 million operational public charging points by 2013. Yeah, so the business case is huge. It's for sure huge. And you can see here the amount of money. I think it's stated as well here. I mean, I can... Oh, damn, man. I should be prepared a little bit better. But guys, let's keep it simple. Yeah, I mean, you can check it out by yourself if you like. Just send me a DM and I will send you this link to this article. Yeah, by whoever it is, Station. But at least they refer to McKinsey, which sounds for me solid. But however, the demand is huge. They're investing billions and billions of euros in EV chargers in the future, in terms of just Europe. Yeah. Okay, let's go back. So we talked about the risks and the chances. So we are now on the finish line. I think I even covered all the websites I want to share with you. Yeah, looks good so far. So now it's getting really serious. Now it's getting serious, guys. Now that's the reason why you're here, maybe. And that is the stock price roadmap. My expected stock price roadmap, yeah, and that's the reason why I put it in the brackets. Own stupid and silly assumptions. It's already silly and dumb that I'm sharing this with you, because you will tell me later, oh, it happened completely different or whatsoever, and I know it, but I just thought for myself. I did this not for you guys. I want to be honest. I did this for myself, and I thought by myself, okay, which kind of milestones, which kind of events will take place in the upcoming quarters, in the upcoming months, and have very likely which kind of impact on the price market, on the stock price. So what is my potential outcome if I invest right now, or if I stay invested? And you can see here, I expect, first of all, in the upcoming quarter, the financing by external organizations, financial institutions, takes place. So they're being more solvent afterwards, yeah, and liquid and financial stable, yeah. So the cash level increases, and I guess this will have a price impact to something like maybe 25 euros. I always keep it like simple 5 euro steps. There's not so much Scientology behind Scientology. It's not very scientific. This is called? Oh man, I need to eat something. It's not very scientific how I did this assumptions. However, so 5 euro steps. Then I guess in Q4 this reassesses takes place for 2025 and later for the midterm guidance, And resulting out of it, I hope they will announce some kind of a restructuring program, for staff, for production, processes, whatsoever. I hope they just have kind of a plan which is very strict, and they inform us as investors and tell us, okay guys, things are challenging, however we have solutions, or we have at least a plan to get out of this situation. However, I think the guidance of 2025 might be negative, not that good. The correction of the midterm guidance will be negative, the adjustments. And the restructuring program, okay, it sounds first glance good that they pay less money for fixed costs or whatsoever. But maybe all of this bunch of information in Q4 might result in negative aspects or negative price. So I guess the price lowers by €5, maybe even more. Who knows? Let's say €5 per share. And then in Q1, I can imagine that the interest rates getting lowered. It's an ongoing process. It already started, but maybe, I'm not sure what is the plan by the EZB, the European Central Bank. Maybe it's at this point in time at 3% or something like this, or even lower. Who knows? Everything is going well in this direction. So, and the price adopting to it slightly more and more. It's not like from one day to another this price level, what I'm stating here, is getting achieved. I think it's an ongoing process. So I guess by this it's coming back to €25 because it's really a very fundamental and valuable aspect. And then I don't want to see too far into the future or do assumptions. It's already, again, silly that I'm doing this right now. And guys, don't rely on it. It's just my internal thoughts. Don't rely on it, really. Don't come back to me and tell me, Julian, you are an idiot, and because of you, I thought that in whatever Q2 we reached the price level of €30. However, my assumption is that the guidance might be adjusted one more time for 2025 in Q2, but this time in a positive way. So end of 2024 negatively, but then in Q2 maybe positively. And so the market, they get traction, the demand is increasing, a lot of potential positive stuff comes in hand. EVs, which are cheaper, so more EV chargers getting installed and required, and substations, no moisture anymore, and electrical grid supply is required or needed, and the same with energy storage solutions. Profit margin might be still low, but actually really customer coming back and ordering storage solutions. So my assumption was, it's not that completely, for me, unrealistic that the price level comes back to €30. So it's now €18, so roughly 100% up, 80% up, something like this. Not completely unrealistic. It can go to zero. No doubt about it. If they have financial issues and they can't solve it, if they don't get any money from outside, from some financial institutions, damn, all of this is not worth anything. And I'm trying to be out as soon as the first one. Very likely last Wednesday I will be the last one. So, and I will do another stream and I will show you this kind of sheet, what you see at the moment here. And we will laugh about it or cry, whatsoever. But I see some potential. And therefore, you know my classic valuation or final statement, I call this verdict chart or verdict bar. Avoid the stock, consider a stock, shortlist the stock or buy it. And guys, look, for me, what is clear is, look outside of the weather, look all of the discussions, look or think about what people, at least in the Western world, think about. And renewable energy, this kind of stuff is something which is a lot on the media. And I think this is something what you can't put back and ignore. It's something which is existing and which is getting taken serious by the governments all over the world, all over the globe, from some more, from some less. I understand this completely why that's the case. However, it's just the status quo. And I guess renewable energies are the future, especially in Europe. And Alfen is just operating in Europe. So a good aspect. And I guess there's a chance that Alfen might participate. Yeah, so I think, maybe you think it's a clear buy for me or it's a shortlist. I think it's a consider one. I mean, I did only one verdict in the past at a Sense of Capital stream, and this was for Grab, the food and mobility and financial service provider out of Singapore, out of Southeast Asia. And everything I've guessed sounded there as well quite positive, and at the end the verdict was consider. And here as well, I think the only stock I would recommend to buy is Simpson Hearst still, even though the price raised. And yes, I'm heavily invested, and so by far my largest position, it's I think 40% of my portfolio. That's the only stock I would put a buy rating on. Shortlist, I would, not sure, maybe New Bank, but not 100% sure. But Alfen I consider, yeah. And I guess it's still a risky value bet. It's a value bet. It's not for me a growth bet anymore, and it's very unfortunate because I like to invest in growth stock companies, no matter if it's growth in profitability or growth in revenue. But based on the fact that it's, for me, based on my assumptions, comparatively cheap, and based on the aspect that I see a lot of potential, a lot of paths to more success in the future, to come back, to really become an even stronger growth story than ever, because now the foundation is very low. It's positioned way lower than in the past. Yeah, so I guess it can really surprise here in this direction, and yeah, can be an amazing growth story. So actually, I changed my thoughts about this overall situation right after. Really, there's a German board of investors where I'm a user since 8 years, and I have my own thread there and always keeping the people up to date about what I'm doing since 8 years, and or 7 years I think. And basically I wrote, guys, I don't like the news at all. I'm busy. I'm actually in the Netherlands, and I really think about to sell. I give me 1 or 2 more days to think about it and sleep over it, but the tendency is very strong, directed into selling it. And then I did some more research, thought about it. I mean, I invest a lot of time in this company, and I hope that's not the reason why I stay invested, yeah. But I really thought, man, there is some upside potential. There is some upside potential. And the original investment thesis is kind of still existing. Renewable energies are the future, and Alfen can participate. That was one part of the investment thesis. The other one was, and it's a growth story, yeah. And currently, I'm not sure if it's a growth story, for sure not at the moment. However, again, I think there's a path of success existing for sure. And so, it might be a catch for you when it is a catch for me. But make sure you're doing your own evaluation, your own research. I'm not sure if everyone should invest so much time like I did into it. I mean, or maybe, I guess, I mean, if you are able, I always recommend to invest even more time, but I hope I could support you. But let's finalize this with the outcome. What is the result for me personally? You can see it here, and I already shared it with you on YouTube communities function, on my social media like X, like Instagram, and on Reddit. And if you are interested, feel free to join. You can find the links to the different accounts at the description below this stream. There's some follow me buttons or something like this. And I always try to keep you updated here about news and purchases and my portfolio in general and my thoughts. So I'm getting more and more active in the future. So at the moment it's kind of limited, but I will set a higher focus for sure in the future. But you can see here, I stated there, or I posted there as well. Actually, for me, it was not the decision if I hold it or sell it. For me, in this kind of scenarios, it's always the basic question, would I still purchase it for this price? And if I would purchase it for this price today, for the valuation today, then actually, why I should not invest and buy more shares? That's always the question I'm confronted with. I'm not like, oh, I keep it the same amount. I mean, if the stock conditions strongly changes, the price changes, and I think maybe the market is thinking different than I, and maybe I could be right in the future. Yeah, maybe there's a slight chance this is the case. Why I should not invest more money? And if the case is on the different way, yeah, my thoughts are differently addressed, and I think I would not buy it anymore today. Why I should hold it? That's not consequent in my perspective. And being consequent and strict in this direction is for me the most crucial aspect in investing. For me personally, being strict, being consequent, and staying to the decisions, to the facts. And my idea was, okay, if I would be not invested at the moment into the stock, I would seriously think about to invest in it. So I take some money, I sold another position which is called GitLab, and I invested part of it, and you can see here roughly $4,000 into Alfen. And now I'm back on the level of roughly $11,000, maybe even a little bit larger right now, because I think today the price increased and yesterday as well of Alfen, so it's maybe just a technical development, so the price is rising back to normal. And I don't think it will go back that quickly. I showed you the roadmap. However, so I have now, I think 10% of my of my investment portfolios is invested into Alfen, and I guess I can sleep quite well with it. I'm very happy to be invested because I think it's a very interesting story, and I would not back it that intensively and that closely if I would not be invested in it. Very honest in this regard to you here. And yeah, guys, I hope it was worth the time. I mean, it was a very long call. I expected it was 1 hour, and now it's 2 hours, at least not 3 hours, guys. So always try to be a little bit optimistic. I quickly take a look. 3 viewers still active. Very highly appreciate you guys. So greetings and shout outs to you. And again, always feel open, or don't hesitate to reach out to me to ask any questions, even after the stream, through the comment section or through DMs. And or the social media as well. You can reach out always at any time, and I'll try to answer as accurate as possible. But whatever, I hope it was worth the money for you, the time. And maybe you are located somewhere in the US, in Chile, in Arabia, in whatever, Malaysia, in Australia, however, wherever you are. I know that the audience of my YouTube channel is quite international, and I like this very, very much. Or you look at it in the Netherlands as well, of course. Yeah, so maybe it's interesting for you. I know maybe it's not the company everyone knows about, hears about. Might be more like a hidden champion. Obviously, at the moment, not honestly, but maybe in the future they come back to normal or even more positive. And so, guys, yeah, I hope you could. I guess actually I'm quite confident I could add some value to you. I hope if you are interested in it, you take it seriously and do some research and evaluation by your own. And it's your money. Make sure that you take care of it, yeah, and that you not blame anyone else later on, like me, in the future, guys. So yeah, thank you so much for joining the stream. Very highly appreciated, and thank you very much for being a viewer and part of the audience of my YouTube channel. Guys, if you enjoyed the content that was entertaining, please make sure to subscribe to the channel if you didn't subscribe yet, and leave a like. Always keeps me motivated and make sure that the channel is growing, and yeah, I stay as well motivated and ambitious in terms of providing content to you. And yeah, as well subscribe to the other social media channels if you are interested. And of course, earnings season for me will start in August, I guess. So I will take care of and guide the earnings and back the earnings of Alfen, of Hims & Hers, of Grab, of Stone Co, of Sentinel-1, and of who I forgot. I guess I forgot someone. Of New Bank, yeah. So would be very happy and very pleased if you join there as well. Yeah, I will announce the calls always one day earlier or on the same day, and I try to cover all of them. Not sure if I can manage and make it happen or not, but let's see. Guys, highly appreciate all the best to all of you. I mean, take always care of yourself. And most important, make sure that you stay healthy. I guess being healthy is most crucial in life. And yeah, see you next time.